Welcome to Close the Door and Come Here, a Song of Ice and Fire podcast with heavy leanings towards our two favorite characters, Jaime and Brienne.
There was a bear, all black and brown and covered in hair. From there to here, from here to there, the bear, the maiden fair.
Hi, I'm Clotho, and you can find me at Clotho Spindle on Blue Sky Social. And today I'm joined with Guile.
Hey, I'm Guile, and you can find me at Guile and Subterfuge on Blue Sky Social.
And Devin.
Hey, this is Devin. You can find me at GD Harpo on Blue Sky.
We're going to be discussing Dany's second chapter in A Dance with Dragons. All the usual trigger warnings for potential discussions of any rape or violence that might come up. Eerie wakes Dany to share news that Missandei's brother, Mosador, had been killed. She's kind of getting woken up really fast for this urgent middle of the night meeting with Skahaz, Raznek, and Grey Worm. She learns that 9 total, I guess, out of the Unsullied had been killed by the Sons of Harpy overnight. Even people they're well armed, they're going twos or, multiples, it's not helping. That's what they said before. They kind of decided they were going to, surely they won't go after us if we're more, prepared. That's not the case. 3 freedmen had also been murdered in their homes. In particular, there's a harpist that she really, she flinched when she heard that her fingers had been cut off before they killed her. So this is kind of pretty severe vengeance type retribution. Her name is Rylona Ray, and she was a leader amongst the Yunkish freedmen. So these kind of targeted killings are starting to happen. They're interrogating at this time. They say they have a wine cellar, and they might interrogate his daughters and banter back and forth about Dany's like, well, start out easy. They don't want to do anything too harsh right off the bat. She's also ordering a blood tax, and it's 100 gold pieces from every pyramid for each of the freedmen that was slain. And every time she does these things, she gets a little pushback. She said Shave Pate informs her that Masters Zok and Marek are planning to leave the city. And again, she gets kind of this pushback. She's getting frustrated. She doesn't want to let these people just leave with their wealth and leave with, any of their food stores. She's like, we have to keep that. And he's like, well, the reality is they're scared for their children now. And she responds they're scared for their children. We're going to take a boy and girl from each family. The sort of Westerosi way of taking people and fail safe in case they try to attack you. Oh, I've got your child here. So it's a mess. She's comforting Missandei. She goes back to her room and she's talking to her, I guess, as best she can, help her work through this. She's asking her about her brother and even offers to send her home to Nath. Is that how it's pronounced? Nath? I don't know.
I would say Nath in my head.
Yeah.
So I think this is understandable. She's like, no, I am too scared to go back. I'd still rather, as dangerous as this is, I still feel like under your protection, this is safer. And they mentioned another brother. I don't think I notated. I forgot what they said his name was, but she has one more brother.
Yeah, it starts with an M as well.
And it's a shame because she mentions that the brothers weren't as lucky because I guess Missandei had such a talent for languages, she was kind of got a better position, whereas they were just castrated and became unsullied. Didn't really have much of a choice. So, but at least they were all together there with her. So yeah, it's been a heavy night. After Missandei falls asleep, Dany goes out on her huge terrace that they've always been describing at the top of the pyramid, and she's stepping out. She's looking down at the city. She's thinking about Dario. She had a conversation earlier with Barristan, Sir Barristan, wondering if he had met someone else and gone over to the enemy side. I thought it was so funny because I didn't remember that he was like, oh no, you're so beautiful. There's no way. It was just interesting that he was trying to butter her up that much about no. Even though she acknowledges he wouldn't be. He's not king material, essentially, is what she says.
Well, and her beauty is not really the appeal.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Dany, I don't think he's with you because, I don't think he's in. Yeah, she's beautiful, but I don't think that's why he's into her.
Yeah, I guess he's thinking, what does she want to hear? I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, and it's what kind of experience is Barristan, for example, going to have with a teenage girl too? She's 16, right? I mean,
Yes, that's true. The age gap.
No one more ill suited to be talking
yeah,
to her at that
yeah.
moment. Embarrassing.
This old Kingsguard. Oh man. She's kind of wandering over. She's walking through the grasses up there and she wanders over to relax. Like, I'm going to relax in the pool. She's floating on her back and suddenly she hears Quaithe talking and she's described as wearing the wooden mask with the dark red lacquer. And she thinks she's dreaming. She asks, what's, how did you get in here? Like, what is going on? Am I dreaming? And she tells Dany that she has her ways and that the guards won't see her even if she calls them. And so I'm going to read the next part. No, hear me, Daenerys Targaryen. The glass candles are burning. Soon comes the pale mare, and after her the others Kraken and Darkflame, Lion and Griffin, the sun's son and the mummer's dragon. Trust none of them. Remember the undying. Beware the perfumed seneschal. Resnack, why should I fear him? Dany rose from the pool. Water trickled down her legs, and goose flesh covered her arms in the cool night air. If you have some warnings for me, speak plainly. What do you want of me? Quaithe. Moonlight shone in the woman's eyes, to show you the way. I remember the way. I go north to go south, east to go west, back to go forward, and to touch the light I have to pass beneath the shadow. She squeezed the water from her silvery hair. I'm half sick of riddling. In Quarth I was beggar, but here I'm a queen. I command you. And then Quaithe says, Daenerys, remember the undying. Remember who you are, the blood of the dragon. But my dragons are roaring in the darkness. I remember the undying. Child of 3 they called me. 3 mounts they promised me. 3 fires and 3 treasons. 1 for blood, 1 for gold, 1 for... And at this point, Missandei interrupts and asks Dany who she's talking to. And Dany glances around and the woman's not there any longer. So she wonders if she's going mad, if she was dreaming, and she tells her that she was just praying. So this here, I don't know if there's anybody has anything
Yeah,
to unpack about
I love this bit. And it has to do, it's the magic of it all. Because these are the parts of this book in particular I really like. Is all the magic. So as we're doing another chapter later, Brienne, where we get a ton of magic. And it's one of those things I cling to within this book. And magic, prophecy, what does it all mean? Like she's supposed to go east to go west, all those different things. And just as she's wondering, what does this mean? Who's the perfect seneschal? Which we all think that's Varys, right? Like whenever he shows up
right.
if he
That
shows
makes no
up.
sense.
But yeah, just like I said, just what does it all mean? The glass candles, which we've seen, where the Citadel, what's going on there with Marin and all those things, and just how it all connects. And it's the bit that I really like about this Dany chapter in particular. Outside of because a lot of this, of course, her time in Marine is her learning how to rule. Which she was going through earlier in the chapter and a little bit later. But yeah, I just really love these bits where we have magic show up.
Yeah, kind of really agree with you that it's one of the more enjoyable aspects of trying to kind of figure out the riddles and where this is going. And yeah, Dany is eating her breakfast, but she doesn't have any appetite after all this. There's a lot going on. So it's like she had the kind of more traumatic events earlier the night, and then I'm sure she feels very trippy after that experience. And she's if it was me, I'd be preoccupied with trying to figure out what that meant and what it meant for the future. So she's really not there and having to do her, not really. She has to do her court duties, but it's kind of a little difficult for her. She's she's starting to question, she's trying to think who, because again, she doesn't know, she's not familiar with Varys, so she doesn't know where that, but she's thinking, is it Resnack? Is it Skahaz? Like, are they plotting treasons? And she's starting to get hit with tired finally after being up all night, basically. So she still has to go to court, and she's talking to everyone, there, and is back again with the pressure it keeps coming up the fighting pits. She reminds them again that she refused 6 times already. And this is, again, each time she's listing, okay, this is the 7th I'm going to refuse. But they're like, okay, well, we're bringing 7, they kind of say, oh, in Westeros, they believe in the 7. So we have 7 formerly enslaved fighters who are willing to speak up about their wish. So I guess this is their tactic now. So they sort of have these people come up, and they're saying, we were made to fight before. And in their mind, like, they're like, well, we're not getting great food now. We want to actually have the gold for ourselves because we're giving gold to someone else. We want the glory for ourselves. So we're making the decision. That's their take on it. She still feels like, well, they shouldn't have to do this. They shouldn't have to feel like they have to do this. And then Dany is kind of appealing to them to fight for her with her army. And again, it's the same response. Well, that's still fighting for something else, not ours. Like, this is ours. We're not, risking our lives for someone else. We're risking our lives for ourselves and our own golden glory. Dany, internally, I think she's really torn about it. And she's kind of going back and forth about, well, what is the moral right? Do I deny them if they want to do this? Like, and out loud, she's telling them and she'll consider. So she kind of cuts it off right there and announces that they're going to just have court again next day. So that's it for her for that day. Barristan escorts her back to her chambers, and she's kind of like, well, I need to get my mind off things. Tell me some stories. Tell me how you escaped the usurper. And he explains, okay, it was Joffrey that started this, and he tells her that they gave age as reason for removal for the King's Guard, but he knew that it was the Queen. Many reasons, but the big one was she wanted her brother as Lord Commander so she could have more control over the King's Guard. And he's describing, he threw his sword at Joffrey's feet, took off his cloak, and he may have spoken unwisely, but he felt like he spoke his truth before he left. He didn't know where to go, kind of mentioned some cousins, but he didn't want to bring the Queen's displeasure on the cousin's house if he went there. So this point, he knew that they were going to probably come after him, which is what ended up happening. But he's thinking to himself, he finally comes to this conclusion, like, well, maybe I could redeem myself. And this is what he's telling her. So whether take this at face value, but find the true heir to the throne and serve them loyally. But originally that would have been because she says that was Viserys, correct? And yes, that was who he was thinking it was going to be. He describes how he fought his way out when confronted by the City Watch. It's kind of like this very involved plan where he had to like disguise himself as small folk and kind of come back into the city because he was going to try. He had to he said he had to book passage across the narrow sea, and they did send people out to look for him because they were like, okay, well, that's kind of weird too. I don't know why they just didn't kill him right off.
Yeah, if you were gonna send people after him, why not just kill him there at court? You're doing whatever you want to do anyway.
Right. The whole thing is just weird. I mean, I guess it gave him the chance to leave.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear the conversation when they find out that he got away and killed several guardsmen to do so. Like, what was that conversation like after, like, oh, we just got rid of this guy from the King's Guard and he cut his way out of here anyway with no sword.
Like, fire him, escort him from the building, put him on a boat somewhere, like send him off ride him to his cousins, whatever it is, like, but just like letting him go.
Right.
He's so lazy.
Because you would think in any world, it's established that people tend to get upset when they lose their lifelong job and their retirement, essentially.
Yeah, and a renowned knight. He's gonna go find something to do.
Something bad's gonna happen. So in this discussion, they bring up, he talks about Eddard Stark, and Dany kind of interrupts us like, well, he's a traitor and he deserved his traitor's fate. And, Barristan's kind of like, well, he didn't bear you, like, he didn't like father, but he didn't bear you ill will particularly. And he spoke out against Robert's plan to murder you. And this kind of starts a conversation where they're talking about children and guilt, and like children who get killed in war and guilt. And that segues into her suddenly asking to see the dragons because she's feeling that internalized guilt around what happened with Drogon killing little girl and the father who had brought her body there before her. So we get a little more details about that it's, even though she thought, well, this could be fake, but then she realized, well, why did he wait until the end to show up? Why did he, there's certain things she could tell that she felt like that this was sincere. It really happened. So basically she offers compensation, which I don't know, to me it didn't sound like a lot, but I guess she said, I'll take care of your kids as well. If any future children have any needs, I'll take care of them. So, but she asked for his silence because the discussion was, her advisors were basically saying, you need to kill this man because he's going to spread this. And once this spreads, that's going to make you look bad and the dragons look bad, then it's not going to be good. So they were trying to go in there like a PR type thing. But she's like, no, this should keep him silent. So that remains to be seen. And we get a little bit of description. It just sounds so sad about Rhaegal and Viserion being chained up. It's like I feel bad. It's like horrible for the
Well,
child.
like how she had to trick him, like, basically
Oh
throw a
To get
ball into the house and then
yeah.
quick, run out the door.
God. Oh God. Like when you try to put your cat in a carrier
Yes.
or your pets or your dog. Oh.
And just the size of the chains that have to go around their neck and like all this. Oh my goodness. I mean, they are dragons, but still.
Yeah.
And the people that, died because
Right. Oh,
died
yeah.
when she
Yeah,
was
Right.
all
trying to do
her
this.
Unsullied and other, trying to get them down there, which
Yeah, that's a good point because I think she said like 4 people died when they tried to
Yeah.
get Drogon, and that's half of what she was upset about the night before, so that's horrible to think about. We learned that she had kind of, with Drogon, he wasn't they weren't able to capture him, and that she'd last seen him flying north towards the Dothraki Sea. And kind of this last little bit here, I guess I'll read that part. But Mother of dragons, Dany thought, Mother of monsters, what have I unleashed upon the world? A queen I am, but my throne is made of burned bones and it rests on quicksand. Without dragons, how could she hope to hold Marine, much less win back Westeros? I am the blood of the dragon, she thought. If they are monsters, so am I.
I mean, can I shout out like some of Danny's decision making in here? There's a whole part where the guilds are super pissed because the freedmen are undercutting their work and claiming to be masters of like the trades. And, her thing was like, well, I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to forbid them, but, the trade will let the guilds be the only people to be able to claim like the quality, but they have to open themselves up to anyone that can prove that they can do the work. I'm like, that seems like a solid decision. Like, go, good job, Dany.
Yeah, yeah. She's been making some, I feel like,
And
decent decisions.
I feel like, for hundreds of years in Westeros, the Targaryens had dragons, and you didn't hear about them killing a bunch of little kids. So,
Mhm.
like, it is sort of disappointing to me that, like, dragon husbandry, essentially, is not more of a priority. Like, are
Oh.
there no books, how to train your dragon?
Oh, that's a really good
Like,
point. Yeah.
why aren't there scholars that could be seeking out
Right.
information about, like, how to do that? Since
yeah,
obviously it was done.
Yeah,
and
there's
I would think a lot of that goes to some of the theories that the Maesters did away with anything regarding dragons,
Oh,
because they
wow.
no outside of Targaryens, no one else wanted them around.
Oh.
So I think that kind of lends itself to that a little bit because you would think there would be something out there. And I think probably in the depths of the Citadel, there's probably things that
Right.
will be discovered later,
yeah. Or maybe
along with
Marwyn.
things about White Walkers. Oh, yeah, or
Yeah.
Marwyn.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
think all that stuff could be tied together somewhere. It just hasn't been found yet or kind of just lost to history in a way.
But yeah, I mean, that should be like top priority. Like that send out a thing, like anybody who knows anything, kind of because you'd think she'd get, I mean, I don't know if she'd get some, scam people, but try to find some
Like,
legit
just,
sources.
yeah, people that, well, I mean, and that's probably what's so nice about, when Ben Brown Plum is around, just to have someone else that the dragons are seemingly cool with, though, too, just to, because she also just needs people who can handle them besides herself.
Besides her, yeah, and which she has
And I
zero.
think, we have a question on the Discord from Buck O'Hare that's just basically like, is this really Quaithe? What's Quaithe up to? And does it matter? And I mean, I think it is Quaithe, and I
Yeah.
just, it just seems like if she's supposed to remember the House of the Undying and who she is, it's sort of like, I mean, you hate to say it, but I mean, I feel like Marine sucks, and that by trying to be a conciliator with this city, she kind of needs to be a strong man in a way.
Mm,
And, the dragons are the only thing she has really at this point.
right.
I mean, I'm not saying burn the city down, although it totally sounds like I'm saying burn the city
Well,
down.
I mean, it's like I think it's like the same thing, like what sort of always comes up with, who's an effective leader and like people like Ty, like the people who do tend to like in this world, like you need. Unfortunately, it sounds like you need something.
Or they're not afraid. She's
Yeah.
got 2 dragons,
Yeah.
used to have 3, and a big army, and they're not afraid of her. And like they should be afraid of her a little bit, or they don't respect her, I guess. And
Right, that's probably, but yeah.
I mean, I just
And
kind of feel like that's what Quaithe is saying is like you are, you have undercut yourself so much here.
yeah, and almost like you're not supposed to be here. Like, go,
Yeah, maybe that's it. Is you're
get
not
out of
supposed to
here.
be
Yeah,
here.
like this isn't where you're supposed to be. This isn't part of the plan, I guess.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, because she's like very much mired there right now. Man.
Yeah, because I think Quace overall, I feel like any of the prophecy for the most part deals with the entire Song of Ice and Fire. So I think Quaithe is, whatever her prophecies, riddles means, is to lead Dany to the ultimate fight against the other.
Yeah,
like
and
sort of connected like movement towards fighting that, no matter where everyone's at in this sort of connection.
and it's I hate to say it, but I feel like the qualities that Westeros needs from Dany aren't really leadership qualities. They kind of need like the hammer quality from her, because I think that we've seen these other POVs and stuff that are, John, I mean, John has his problems though too, but I mean, if we think about like the leaders of soldiers and stuff, well, I mean, we've seen Loras, who's really effective at that. We've seen Jaime, we've seen Asha. Like, we know that there are these people that when it comes down to like leading a force of people towards a goal, like they're going to be really, really good at it. And really, it's John and Dany that have like the magic and like I think can define the vision.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have to like, her destiny, I don't think, is her having to like worry about the details.
Right. And I mean, we've seen that in other instances of with Jaime and the trebuchet baby, that sometimes they need to, even if you don't intend to do something, maybe she needs to use a little bit of the, like you were saying, the hammer leverage to get people to do things effectively. So kind of blend those two skills. Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's got to get out of there. You're right.
Yeah, she's.
It's only her second chapter, and
because I'll always stick to it, Dany. It's like at the point where your dragons are now, your ultimate goal is to get over to Westeros. Can you not just go over there and burn something real quick? I mean, for her ultimate goal, removing the usurpers, I feel like she could do that. Let's just catch them unaware, and we figure it out from there.
Like I almost think that if she were to do some kind of like stealth, like just fly the 3 of them over there herself, like are they big enough for her to sit on them at this point? She just go over. I mean,
but I also think like she feels like this. She does feel like she's the liberator of these people, and she feels like a moral obligation to all these people. Like, I mean, it's not. It's like she certainly has her admirable qualities. Like, she's not like a megalomaniac or anything. Like, I think, she really does feel an obligation to these people. And, that's why she's screwed. If she was like heartless,
right.
Much
She
better
really
off.
wants to help, and that is ultimately hurting.
Right. Because, oh my gosh, yeah, as soon as she leaves, all hell breaks loose. And it'd probably be worse forever. Like, what a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, it ain't the allegory of the U.S. and the Middle East for nothing.
Right. Right. Yes. Right. Okay. We have any?
Yes, so I do have one more piece of mail, and this is more just a general comment question regarding our good friend George. So this will be long, so bear with me. So from a stranger giving the strange welcome on Tumblr. Hi, ladies and gent. Can I just take a moment to be pissed off with you by these comments George made? And so there's a lot, so I'm going to read through it real quick. So George's post on his Not a Blog. I know. Some of you will just be pissed off by this, as you are by everything I announce here that is not about Westeros or the Winds of Winter. You have given up on me or the book. I will never finish Winds. If I do, I'll never finish A Dream of Spring. If I do, it won't be any good. I ought to get some other writer to pinch hit for me. I'm going to die soon anyway because I'm so old. I lost all interest in A Song of Ice and Fire decades ago. I don't give a shit about writing any longer. I just sit around and spend my money. I edit the Wildcard series books too, but you hate wildcards. You hate everything else I have ever written, the Hugo winners and Hugo losers, A Song for Lila and Dying of the Light, Sand Kings and Beauty and the Beast, This Tower of Ashes and The Stone City, Old Mars and Old Venus and Rogues and Warriors and Dangerous Women, and all the other anthologies I edited with my friend Gardner Dozois. You don't care about any of those. I know. You don't care about anything but Wins a Winner. You've told me so often enough. Thing is, I do care about them, and I care about Westeros and Winds as well. The Starks, the Lannisters, the Targaryens, Tyrion and Asha, Dany and Daenerys, the dragons, and the direwolves. I care about them all more than you can ever imagine. That's from George. And so this is to finish from A Stranger in the Strange Welcome. The thing is that I'm not mad at him for not finishing the books. I think I'm less mad than you guys are, just based on what I've heard from your podcast. The story and the characters that he shared with us so far have been so good and enriched my life a lot. I'm grateful that I got this much at all. And as a writer, I do kind of understand that sometimes you just can't finish the story. I would rather no ending than a bad ending, even though I'm just dying to get Pod down from that tree. Oh, I know. I like George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire writings, and I would actually be interested in new A Song of Ice and Fire projects. But with that being said, Jesus Christ, the entitlement. Acting like people are being so unfair about hounding him for a book that he's had 14 years to write. So many writers out there would kill for even half the platform that even his A Song of Ice and Fire works get now because of A Song of Ice and Fire. And instead of being grateful, he's out there complaining. He would have my forgiveness, understanding, and support if he just said, look, I can't write it anymore. I'm sorry. Here's what I wanted to happen. But instead, he's out there saying this shit. It is a gift to have so many people that care about your story at all.
I don't, you know what the thing is, when I saw this, I didn't even fully read this. So this is real? Like,
Yeah.
when did
Yes.
this hit? When did it hit?
Like a month or so
May,
ago.
yeah, like end of May. Yes, I missed it as well until I was reading the mail yesterday.
Oh shit! Oh shit! So, oh my, wow. So he's over it. It sounds like
Yeah,
he cares, but he's over it.
But he's over it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that attitude and stance on it as a stranger given the strange welcomes is like that. That's what kind of pisses me off. It's like as the fans, the people who have without us, you know, you don't reach the heights you've reached, and like thankful for your success and all you've done, but to act like we're in the wrong for wanting the ending of the story and wanting you to finish the books, that's bullshit.
This is like what they say. This is like the corny, don't send something when you're upset. Just, he should have saved this in a personal journal for no one to see the first part of it, and like maybe left the last part, like the tiny little I care about. Like, oh no,
but don't share the rest of this with us. Keep those thoughts to yourself. Write that in your journal that nobody else sees,
because it is the privilege. It's the privilege around it. If he was just a struggling, you know, it's just, oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I mean, I don't know what his mental health status is. I mean, that could be a possibility. I don't know if he has disability. I don't know, you know. Oh gosh, but yeah,
I mean, I think he, you know, hear everything he says. Don't disagree with some of it. Certainly don't disagree with, I mean, the people who are saying, you know, if people are messaging him talking about how he's going to die and shit, like that's pretty awful.
Yeah, that's fine.
But, you know, if it were 5 years, he would have a strong point. But it's just the length of time. Like, just, I mean, I think he should think about the people that fell in love with this story that have passed. And, you know, never would have thought that reasonably they wouldn't see an end to it. And, you know, like that's, you know.
True. That's true.
That sucks. And I mean, that's going to be all of us too. Like, you know, I mean.
So he left it all at that. So there is no, but I'm going to do it. So literally, this is
Well,
his
of
way of
course he's
saying,
not gonna do it. Like,
I don't know.
And
I
that's
think
the
some of the
thing.
1% of me was like,
I have nothing
oh,
left. I really don't.
this kind of really, really, if any of us were delusional, this is like
right.
seals the deal.
I mean, he's obviously he can feel how he feels about it, and he can be mad about it. But yeah, to your point, I mean, I think that's probably something you keep to yourself because, again, at the end of the day, it's been like 14 years, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
that's
not what we want to hear from you.
right. And
Because it feels like it's blaming it. It feels like
mhm.
it's blaming all of us for why he didn't write it,
or like that it's not
or the
unreasonable
pressure.
to or that like it's an unreasonable expectation. Like, no, it's like your job. And again, like, to your point too, like, if he just came out and was like, I don't have it anymore, like, you're
Exactly.
disappointed but you're not angry.
But you're not angry, and you know that you can that you can stop having any hope. Like that. Like that's kind of the other part of it is if he would just say that hey, I'm not going to finish it. I can't. Then it kind of puts a well, okay, we know where it has ended. Then
So I mean,
It's
how do you all feel about? I mean, do you feel like there's any? I don't know if that's selfish of me to think. I almost feel like if you're going to outwardly say all this, then maybe you should just give a summary of what happens, or is that not? I don't know in writers' circles. Is that kind of
I
like,
don't
oh, if you're done with
think
the book,
he
you just leave it?
I don't think he has a summary of what's going to happen,
Because of
I
his
don't
writing
either.
style.
or
I
not for
think
every
Okay.
character. And
not
if
for
he
every
started,
character, every
yeah,
storyline. Like I don't think
Okay.
he knows
Because
how
then for him,
this
it would turn into finishing the book if he started to
right,
do that.
exactly.
right.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, you feel bad for him, but again, like, it's just, I mean, it's so long. It's like it's a joke for a reason.
Mess.
Yeah.
He's mired just like Dany, so that's we'll tie
Yeah,
that
I
in to wrap
mean,
up the chapter. Oh my god.
except that unlike Dany, he has
He
a
doesn't
clear pathway that would
right,
solve everything for him.
right.
Like, she
Oh,
really does, I
yeah.
guess, maybe that's it though. Like, if he had one goal, which was to finish A Song of Ice and Fire, he probably would have done that, and that would have been good. If she just had the single goal of getting to Westeros and taking the Iron Throne, she would have by now. Like, it'd be done. So I
Yep,
think it
here
is
we
like
are
those
stuck in Marine.
multiple competing goals. He should read his own writing, I guess.
Do a reread.
Yeah, maybe hey George, maybe read Dance of Dragons again.
Oh gosh.
And get
See
us
what a
all out of
quagmire
Marine.
is.
Okay. You could reach us at closethedoorend@gmail.com, on Tumblr at closethedoor and come here at tumblr.com. Submit questions to the chapter threads on the Jaime and Brienne subreddit at Close the Door, Blue Sky Social. And there's also the Discord, correct? Do we have a name for the Discord? Is
I
it
think it's just the Jaime and Brienne
the Brienne
Discord.
Discord? And please like, review, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and wherever else you might listen. And support us on Patreon at Close the Door. I'm closing the door. Get out.